There are moments in life when a person leaves your story so suddenly that it feels as if the ground beneath you has shifted. One day, you were dreaming, planning, believing, and then, without warning, everything collapsed. The messages stopped. The presence disappeared. The relationship you prayed to save slipped through your fingers. And now you're left wondering why God allowed something that felt so right to end so painfully. Have you ever laid awake at night, asking yourself if you weren't enough, if you could have loved better, if you should have fought harder? Or questioned why God would let your heart break when all you wanted was something real? It's a quiet kind of grief, the kind people don't see. You smile at work, but inside you're still replaying conversations, rewriting moments, hoping for a different ending. You feel abandoned in your own story. You try distractions, advice, motivational videos, but none of them touch the ache that keeps whispering, why did they leave? Why didn't God stop them? You try to convince yourself that moving on is simple, that healing should be fast, but your heart still asks the questions your mind is afraid to say out loud. But here is the truth you never expected. Sometimes Jesus removes someone not to punish you, but to protect you from what you can't yet see. Sometimes he closes a door to open a destiny. Sometimes the heartbreak you're living through is not rejection. It is divine redirection. Think about Ruth. She lost her husband, her future, her stability. Everything familiar was taken from her. Yet her loss positioned her to meet Boaz, a man God had prepared long before she ever knew heartbreak existed. Ruth's story didn't die when her relationship ended. It began. Or look at Joseph. Betrayed, abandoned, sold, forgotten. Yet every painful removal pushed him closer to the place where God intended to elevate him. The hands that wounded him were the same hands God used to move him. Your heartbreak may feel like the end, but what if it is actually the alignment of something holy, something prepared, something chosen? God knows when a person is not your assignment. God sees what you cannot. The conversations you were not present for, the motives you could not discern, the spiritual battles you were not aware of. You prayed for the right person, and sometimes the answer to that prayer is God removing the wrong one. And when your heart cannot understand, His word speaks what your emotions cannot hold. Psalm 34 verse 18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." When God removes someone, He does not leave an empty space. He plants a promise. He prepares a future. He redirects your path towards someone who will honor what the last person mishandled. By the end of this message, you will understand why that person had to leave, why the silence was necessary, why God allowed the separation, and how Jesus is preparing someone that aligns with your calling, your future, your purpose. You will discover why the pain you feel right now is not the end of your story, but the beginning of your destiny. Stay until the end, because what God will reveal today could shift the direction of your entire life. When God removes who you thought was the one, there's a specific kind of pain that hits deeper than ordinary disappointment. It's the pain of believing someone was meant to stay, only to watch them walk away. You invested emotions, dreams, conversations, time, purpose. You pictured a future. You prayed for direction. You felt something real growing, until suddenly it wasn't there anymore. That kind of loss doesn't just hurt your heart, it shakes your identity. You start asking if you misread every sign, if you confused your feelings with God's voice, if the connection was an illusion, or if you were simply not worth staying for. This is the battlefield where heartbreak becomes spiritual warfare, and God sees it. He sees you trying to be strong in public while breaking in private. He knows the weight of unanswered texts, the sting of silence, the confusion of mixed signals, the heaviness of memories that refuse to fade. He knows how hard it is when your faith says, "Trust me," but your heart says, "This hurts too much." You feel the emptiness of someone's absence more loudly than you ever felt their presence. And still, deep down, something whispers that there must be a reason, a purpose behind all this. This is where the revelation begins. Sometimes God removes someone because he knows they were not capable of carrying the calling inside you. Sometimes he allows rejection to reveal protection. Think about David. His own family overlooked him, dismissed him, didn't believe he had value or calling. But that very rejection positioned him to be chosen by God in front of everyone who doubted him. In the same way, God may remove someone who cannot see your worth, because he is preparing someone who will recognize you instantly, someone who won't hesitate, someone whose spirit aligns with the destiny inside you. God speaks into heartbreak with truth, not illusion. Psalm 147 verse 3 declares, "He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds." Every heart that breaks in his hands is not left shattered, it is reshaped. When a wrong person leaves, God begins the quiet restoration of your identity, your confidence, your spirit. You start to remember who you are, and more importantly, whose you are. In daily life, this means God often removes people not because they were bad, but because they were not aligned. Timing, maturity, calling, emotional availability, God sees all of it. That person may have been part of your journey, but never part of your destination. And if they stayed, they would limit what God is trying to build in you. When God allows a departure, it is because the arrival of something divine is already set in motion. And here is where the story starts shifting, because what God reveals next goes deeper. Are you ready? The next topic will show you why the one who left could not walk into the next season God has prepared for you, and why their absence is the doorway for the right person to enter. The person who left could not follow you into your next season. There are seasons in life where God is not just changing your circumstances, he is changing you. And when God begins to elevate you, not everyone can rise with you. The person who walked away didn't just leave your present, they were removed from your future. You may not see it now, but God knew that the journey ahead required a different kind of loyalty, character, maturity, and spiritual strength than the one they carried. Sometimes the person who leaves is not evil. They are simply unequipped for the next chapter of your calling. Your destiny demanded a separation. Think about Joseph again. When his brothers betrayed him, he could not understand the pain, the injustice, or the abandonment. But notice something powerful. None of the people who wounded him walked into the palace with him. They were part of his breaking, not part of his becoming. They shaped his humility, but they could not handle his elevation. God could not allow them to stay, and the same is true for you. The person who walked away was necessary for your growth, but incompatible with your purpose. You might still be asking yourself late at night, but why did it have to hurt this much? Why did God let me feel so deeply for someone who couldn't stay? And the answer is hidden in a question far more powerful. Would you have let go if it didn't hurt? Most people only release what is harming their destiny when pain forces them to loosen their grip. Sometimes heartbreak is the surgery God uses to remove what you would have held onto forever. Esther experienced this too. She was taken from everything familiar, her home, her people, her identity as she knew it. At first, it must have felt like loss, grief, and confusion. But what she didn't know was that God was positioning her for a purpose she could not yet imagine. The removal was the preparation. The unfamiliar place was the assignment. The separation was the setup for divine elevation. God speaks into this moment through Isaiah 43 verse 19, which says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." The one who left was not the loss. They were the clearing. Removing them made room for what God has been waiting to send. Their absence created the space your future needed to breathe. In your daily life, this means something profound. If they were meant to walk into your next season, nothing could have removed them. And if God allowed them to leave, it is because their chapter ended. Trying to bring someone into your next season when God closed their role in the last one would only cause more heartbreak later. What left you was not divine punishment, it was divine protection. And now we move into the heart of your transformation. Because what God reveals next goes even deeper than loss and separation. The next topic will show you how heartbreak becomes preparation, and how Jesus is shaping you for the person who will love you with the depth, honor, and alignment your calling requires. Heartbreak as divine preparation for your kingdom partner. There is a moment in every painful ending where you assume the story is over. You feel empty, tired, disappointed, unsure if love will ever look the same again. Your heart becomes defensive, your trust becomes fragile, and every new possibility feels like a threat instead of a promise. And yet, beneath all of this emotional rubble, God is quietly preparing something sacred. What feels like destruction is often construction. What feels like collapse is often foundation. What feels like abandonment is often alignment. Heartbreak has a way of revealing not just who people are, but who you are becoming. Pain awakens parts of your character that comfort never touches. It teaches patience, discernment, resilience, and spiritual clarity. It strips away illusions, exposes false expectations, and strengthens the places in your heart where immaturity once lived. Have you noticed that heartbreak makes you pray differently, think differently, choose differently? It changes what you tolerate. It changes what you seek. It changes what you call love. Look at Ruth again. Her story begins with devastating loss, widowhood, poverty, displacement, uncertainty. She had every reason to give up on love forever, and yet her heartbreak positioned her for a divine introduction. Boaz did not enter her life until everything familiar had fallen apart. Ruth's pain created the path to her promise. But notice something. Before Ruth met Boaz, God refined her character through loyalty, humility, integrity, and obedience. What she became in the pain prepared her for who she would meet in the blessing. Her heartbreak was not the end. It was the preparation for alignment. Jesus does this in your life too. He removes who was wrong so he can reshape your heart for the one who is right. Because the right person requires a healed version of you, not a broken version. They require discernment, not desperation. They require spiritual maturity, not emotional chaos. They require confidence, not insecurity. The heartbreak you survived is not wasted. It is shaping you for a love that will not break you again. And Scripture speaks directly into this transformation. Romans 8 verse 28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Not some things, all things, including the text that never came, the door that closed, the love that didn't last, the pain that forced you to grow. God is using every tear you cried as preparation for the person who will one day call those tears holy, because they led you to them. In daily life, this means that the healing you are experiencing right now is not accidental. God is shaping you into someone capable of receiving a different kind of love, one that is rooted in peace, not confusion, in commitment, not convenience, in calling, not chemistry alone. Heartbreak softens your pride, sharpens your intuition, purifies your desires, and prepares your spirit to recognize healthy love when it arrives. Now your story begins to rise, because what God reveals next goes deeper still. The next topic will show you how Jesus doesn't just prepare you, he prepares the right person for you as well. Your kingdom partner is not coming randomly. They are being shaped through their own journey, just as you are being shaped through yours. Jesus is preparing the right person for you at the same time. One of the greatest lies heartbreak tells you is that you are the only one going through a process, that you are the only one healing, that you are the only one waiting, that you are the only one praying for someone who will love with purity, purpose, and spiritual depth. But what if the person God is preparing for you is walking through their own season of transformation right now? What if their delays, their heartbreaks, their mistakes, their lessons, and their growth are aligning perfectly with yours? God never prepares one heart alone. He prepares two hearts to meet at the right moment. Think about Joseph again. His journey was not just about his own elevation. While Joseph was being refined in prisons and palaces, God was also preparing Pharaoh for the moment Joseph would enter the room and shift an entire nation. Destiny is never one-sided. The preparation of one is connected to the preparation of another. And in the same way, the person Jesus is preparing for you is being shaped, challenged, refined, and corrected in ways you cannot see yet. Consider Esther. Before she became queen, God was preparing King Xerxes for her arrival. His decisions, mistakes, and personal journey all created the exact opening Esther would step into. Her process and his process were separate, until destiny made them one. That is how divine alignment works. Two unrelated lives become connected by purpose. Right now, the person God has chosen for you is likely learning the lessons needed to love you well. They may be breaking free from old habits, healing from past wounds, discovering their identity, or surrendering areas of their life that would have hurt your heart if they remained unchanged. They may be learning commitment after living carelessly. They may be developing emotional maturity after years of instability. They may be building their relationship with Jesus so they can spiritually cover you when the enemy tries to attack your connection. God speaks into this truth through Philippians 1 verse 6, which says, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus." This means Jesus is working in your heart and in the heart of the person he ordained for you. He is not preparing you for heartbreak. He is preparing you for covenant. He is not positioning you for another disappointment. He is positioning you for destiny. In daily life, this changes how you view waiting. Waiting is not punishment. It is synchronization. You are not being delayed. You are being aligned. Imagine if God sent the right person before either of you had healed. The relationship would collapse under the weight of unresolved wounds. But when two hearts are prepared by Jesus, love flows with peace, trust, sacredness, and stability. You will meet someone who loves you not from their insecurity, but from their growth. Someone who recognizes you because God prepared them to see you. And now the story deepens, because God doesn't just prepare you and prepare them. He also prepares the path where your lives will meet. The next topic reveals how divine timing is not random. It is strategic, intentional, and supernatural. What God reveals next will shift how you see waiting forever. Divine timing. God is preparing the place where your stories will collide. There comes a moment in your journey when you finally realize that God is not just preparing you and preparing them. He is preparing the meeting point. Nothing about your future connection will be accidental. The place where your paths cross, the moment your eyes meet, the timing that feels impossibly perfect. All of it is being orchestrated by a God who wastes nothing and aligns everything. Destiny doesn't happen randomly. Destiny happens when heaven's timing touches earth's reality. Have you ever wondered why certain opportunities didn't work out? Why you didn't move to that city? Why that job didn't go through? Why you stayed somewhere you thought you'd leave? What if the delay was divine? What if the closed door was actually the map God used to guide you toward the place where your future spouse will be? Because destiny doesn't just require the right heart. It requires the right location. Abraham didn't find the ram until he climbed the mountain. Rebecca didn't meet Isaac until she arrived at the well. Ruth didn't meet Boaz until she stepped into the field God had chosen. There is a place where everything changes. A place where your past ends and your future begins. And right now, God is positioning your steps to bring you exactly where the story shifts, You might not see the pattern yet, but every job, every move, every delay, every redirection is assembling the scene where your heart will finally rest. Look at Rebecca. She didn't know that Isaac's servant was already praying for the woman God had chosen. She didn't know that her ordinary day, going to the well like she always did, was about to become the most supernatural moment of her life. She didn't feel the miracle coming. She didn't sense destiny unfolding. She simply walked in obedience, unaware that her steps were synchronizing with God's plan. That is how divine timing works. You don't always feel it. You just arrive in the right moment at the right place with the right heart. God speaks into this alignment through Proverbs 16 verse 9. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. You may be planning your life, but God is arranging your destiny. He is guiding you through paths you don't understand, so you can arrive in a future you prayed for but didn't know how to reach. Every disappointment becomes a reroute. Every delay becomes a setup. Every detour becomes a divine alignment. In daily life, this means that nothing is wasted, not even the years you think you lost. God is not late, He is strategic. The right person is on a path that will intersect with yours at the exact moment when both hearts are ready, both stories are aligned, and both destinies are prepared to intertwine. You won't have to chase it. You won't have to force it. You won't have to question it. When God aligns the place, the timing, and the purpose, love arrives with peace, not confusion. And now the story enters a deeper revelation, because the next topic will show you that the person God removed was not a loss. They were the barrier standing between you and the blessing. The next chapter reveals why the wrong person must leave before the right one can appear, and how Jesus protects what He prepares. The wrong person had to leave so the right one could appear. There is something profoundly painful about realizing that someone you loved was never meant to stay. You gave them your trust, your time, your vulnerability. You believed their words. You saw potential in the connection. And when God removed them, it felt like betrayal wrapped in confusion. You kept asking yourself why. Why didn't it work? Why didn't they choose you? Why didn't God make them stay if your heart was sincere? But what if the removal was not rejection from God, but protection from God? Not every person who enters your life is sent to bless you. Some arrive to teach you. Some arrive to reveal wounds you didn't know still needed healing. Some arrive as mirrors, not partners. And some arrive as obstacles, standing between you and the destiny God prepared. Jesus loves you too much to let the wrong person block the right one. Sometimes He closes a door you were determined to keep open because He knows that if it remained open, the right person wouldn't be able to walk through. Look at Abigail. She was married to Nabal, a man whose foolishness, harshness, and spiritual blindness were hindering her destiny. She was a woman of wisdom, grace, discernment, and honor. But the man connected to her was incapable of valuing who she was. God saw the mismatch. God saw the spiritual imbalance. God saw the future He wanted to give her. So God removed Nabal from her story. And when that chapter ended, David, a man after God's own heart, recognized Abigail immediately. He didn't hesitate. He didn't play games. He didn't overlook her. He saw her value at once because he was aligned with her calling. This is what divine removal looks like. Sometimes God takes someone out of your life because if they stayed, you would settle for less than what He prepared. You would lower your standards. You would shrink your calling. You would silence your discernment. You would carry a relationship that drains more than it gives. God removes what blocks your blessing. Scripture reveals this truth in John 15 verse 2. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, He prunes so that it will be even more fruitful. Cutting off is painful. Pruning is painful, but both are necessary. When God removes someone, it is because that relationship was not producing spiritual fruit, not for your future, not for your purpose, not for your calling, not for your emotional well-being. In your daily life, this removal becomes revelation. You begin to see what you once ignored. You notice the lack of consistency, the emotional instability, the spiritual incompatibility, the absence of growth. You realize how much energy you were pouring into something that was never meant to thrive, and slowly your heart begins to understand. Losing them did not break you. It freed you. Because here is the truth. The right person cannot appear while your heart is still attached to the wrong one. God cannot reveal covenant while you are still trying to resurrect something He buried. Destiny requires space. Purpose requires separation. Your kingdom partner needs an uncluttered heart, a heart with room to receive them fully. And now the story rises again. Because what God reveals next goes deeper still. The next topic will show you how God restores the heart after loss, how Jesus heals the places the wrong person damaged so the right person doesn't have to bleed for wounds they didn't cause. Jesus heals what the wrong person broke so the right person doesn't bleed for it. There are wounds you carry right now that were never meant to be carried into your future. Wounds from words spoken in anger. Wounds from inconsistency that made you doubt your worth. Wounds from manipulation disguised as affection. Wounds from someone who did not see the treasure in you and treated your heart like something replaceable. Jesus does not allow the right person to arrive until He has healed the damage the wrong person caused. Why? Because covenant cannot be built on fragments. Love cannot grow on insecurity. Destiny cannot flourish in distrust. Some of your deepest struggles right now are not about the person who left. They are about what their departure awakened inside you. Feelings of abandonment, fear of rejection, overthinking, self-comparison, doubts about your value. These emotions run deeper than the breakup. They are connected to parts of your heart that Jesus wants to restore before He brings the one who will cherish you. Healing is not a delay. It is preparation. Think of Hannah. She lived years under emotional pressure, provocation, and disappointment. Her heart was weighed down by unfulfilled desires, constant comparison, and the silent ache of feeling unseen. Yet in her brokenness, Hannah poured herself out before the Lord. She didn't hide the pain, she surrendered it, and God responded with restoration, with new life, with a future that erased the shame of her past. What she birthed after her healing was greater than anything she lost before it. The same is true for you. The healing Jesus is doing within you right now is not meant to return you to who you were. It is meant to make you stronger, wiser, softer, and more spiritually aligned. He is removing bitterness so your future spouse won't taste it. He is healing trust so the right person doesn't have to fight ghosts from your past. He is silencing insecurity so your future relationship is built on peace, not fear. He is restoring your confidence so you enter your next season whole, not wounded. God speaks directly into this through Psalm 147 verse 3, saying, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Notice the tenderness in those words. God doesn't judge your heartbreak. He holds it. He doesn't shame your tears. He gathers them. He doesn't ignore your pain. He treats it like something sacred. Healing is the love of Jesus expressed in its purest form. In real life, this healing process may look like emotional clarity, returning after months of confusion. It may feel like peace settling over moments that once triggered pain. It may show up as new strength where insecurity used to live. You may find yourself praying differently, choosing differently, and valuing yourself in ways the old version of you didn't. Healing changes how you love and how you allow yourself to be loved. And now your story rises to its prophetic turning point. Because Jesus doesn't just heal your heart, He prepares it to recognize the person He has chosen for you. The next topic will show you how God confirms the right one, and how your spirit will know when destiny arrives. How God confirms the right person. Your spirit will know what your past never knew. There is a moment, divinely orchestrated and unmistakably holy, when the person God prepared for you finally appears. And unlike the confusion of your past, unlike the anxiety you felt with the wrong person, unlike the uncertainty that kept you awake at night, this time your spirit will recognize something your heart has never experienced before. God does not reveal the right person through chaos. He reveals them through clarity. He does not lead through fear. He leads through peace. Many people mistakenly think destiny feels dramatic or overwhelming. But when the right person arrives, it feels like coming home. Nothing forced, nothing rushed, nothing hidden. It feels as though your soul exhales for the first time in years. You won't have to chase. You won't have to beg for consistency. You won't have to wonder if they care. The right person stands in front of you like an answer, not a question. Think of Ruth once more. When she entered Boaz's field, there was no lightning from the sky, no dramatic sign, only quiet, steady alignment. Boaz noticed her character. He saw her worth. He honored her story. And Ruth's spirit found rest in his presence. The right person brings rest, not restlessness. Ruth didn't have to prove herself. She didn't have to compete. She didn't have to question. Her spirit recognized what her heart had prayed for, and Boaz's actions confirmed what God had ordained. This is how God works. He sends someone whose life aligns with your purpose, whose values match your growth, whose presence brings peace to your spirit. You'll find yourself thinking, I don't have to lose myself to be loved. I don't have to change who I am to be accepted. I can be fully me, and they choose me anyway. Destiny does not demand performance. It allows authenticity. God speaks into this confirmation through 1 Corinthians 14 verse 33. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. And the right person does not create confusion. They do not contradict God's voice. They do not pull you away from your calling. They are a continuation of the healing Jesus started. They reinforce your identity, not diminish it. When God brings the right one, your spirit will feel aligned, protected, and steady. In daily life, this confirmation shows up in simple yet profound ways. The right person will communicate with honesty because they carry emotional maturity. They will choose you consistently because they know the value of commitment. They will pray with you because they understand the power of spiritual covering. They will love you with intention because they are healed enough to love well. You won't have to question their motives. Their actions will answer what your past relationships left uncertain. And here is the greatest confirmation. The right person will mirror the work Jesus has done in you. They will speak to the healed version of you, not the broken version. They will honor your boundaries, support your purpose, and cherish your heart. Your spirit will not feel anxious. It will feel aligned. That is how you will know. And now your story reaches its prophetic culmination. What God reveals next will tie everything together: the loss, the healing, the preparation, the alignment. In the conclusion, you will see the complete picture of why Jesus removed someone and how he is guiding you toward a love ordained by heaven. When God removes, he is preparing to reveal. As you arrive at this final moment of the message, take a deep breath. Let your heart settle. Let your spirit listen. Because now, looking back on every piece of your journey, the heartbreak, the confusion, the waiting, the healing, the preparation, you can finally see a pattern that pain once blinded you to. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. Nothing was without purpose. Every tear carried instruction. Every delay carried alignment. Every removal carried protection. Jesus was not abandoning you. He was guiding you. Think of how your story began, with someone leaving, a door closing, a sudden silence that felt like loss. But now you understand that what felt like the end was actually the beginning of your transformation. God didn't remove that person to punish you. He removed them so your heart wouldn't be tied to someone who could not carry your calling, so your future wouldn't be built on instability, so your destiny wouldn't be delayed by emotional confusion. Your heartbreak was the doorway to a higher purpose. See how God walked you through each stage. In the beginning, you questioned your worth, but as you healed, you began to see your value through God's eyes, not through the lens of someone who couldn't appreciate you. You began to realize that love is not supposed to feel like fear, that commitment is not supposed to feel like inconsistency, that your heart is not supposed to be tested by someone who doesn't know how to treasure it. What Jesus took from your life was something that could not grow with you, and what he will give you is someone capable of honoring the healed version of you. Look at the biblical stories that mirrored your journey. Ruth lost everything, yet her steps led her directly into her destiny. Joseph was betrayed, yet every painful moment positioned him closer to elevation. Esther was taken from her old world, yet placed divinely into her purpose. Abigail was delivered from the wrong man so she could be aligned with the right one. Hannah cried in sorrow only to rise into restoration. Each of them lived a hard chapter before the Holy One appeared. And you are walking the same pattern. Heartbreak before promise, separation before alignment, pruning before fruitfulness. The love God has prepared for you will not look like your past. It will not break you. It will not confuse you. It will not make you question your worth. It will carry peace, stability, honor, purpose, and spiritual covering. The right person will not pull you away from God. They will pull you closer. They will not wound your identity. They will affirm it. They will not hesitate. They will choose you with clarity because God prepared them to recognize you. And now, hear this with your spirit. The story God is writing for you is not a story of loss. It is a story of alignment, not a story of abandonment, but of divine orchestration. Not a story of brokenness, but of restoration. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. You are in preparation, and so is the person God has chosen for you. Divine timing is moving. Destiny is aligning. Heaven is orchestrating what your heart has been praying for. Let your heart rest in this truth. When everything seems lost, that is when God begins to act. A short, heartfelt prayer. Lord, thank you for speaking so clearly to our hearts. Thank you for every closed door, every protected moment, every healing you have begun and will complete. Prepare our hearts for the love you have chosen. Heal every wound, restore every peace, and align us with your perfect timing. Guide our steps, strengthen our faith, and let your will unfold beautifully in our relationships. We trust you with our story. Amen. Your heart is stepping into a new season, a healed season, a chosen season, a divinely prepared season. And when the right person arrives, you will look back and say, now I understand why the wrong one had to leave. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone who needs it.